The DNC platform committee just put a giant middle finger up to the left. This is, unfortunately, the sad reality is that this was expected. But now it happened. It actually happened. So reporter Holly Otterbein said the following: a few notable moments from the DNC's platform committee meeting today on some of the issues I've been tracking where progressives have been trying to pull the party to the left. On Medicare for All, the DNC Platform Committee has voted down support for Medicare for All, 36 in favor, 125 against, and 3 abstain. On the issue of legalizing marijuana, even with a supermajority of Democrats in favor of marijuana legalization, the DNC's Platform Planning Committee just rejected an amendment to add the policy changes to 2020 plank. The delegates voted 50 in favor, 106 against legalizing marijuana. That's out of this world. And then you have Israel, amendment to condition aid to Israel and mention occupation in the 2020 platform was struck down by an overwhelming majority of DNC platform committee members, 117 versus 34. So, what is there to be said about this? This is inexcusable. These are not ancillary issues. These are not, side issues that aren't of crucial importance to people all around this country. These are major issues. These are cornerstone, fundamental, important issues. And not only was the left rejected, the overwhelming majority of the American people were rejected. So when you look at the polls on Medicare for All, for example, you have polls show about over 80% of Democrats. Over 80% of Democrats are in favor of Medicare for All. You have 60+% of the American public, and there's even one poll where it's 51% of Republicans. So you have this overwhelmingly popular issue, and by the way, an issue that's going to gain more and more popularity as we get hit by a pandemic and millions of people hemorrhage their health insurance, their employer health insurance. This is not a hard one. It's a winner both politically and also a winner in terms of policy, because, of course, when we talk about policy, we're just trying to catch the United States up to the rest of the developed world. Every other developed country has one version or another of a universal healthcare system, and we don't. The way to do it is to do Medicare for All. And it's not even like the numbers reflected something defensible. I feel like at least if it was close, we would have been able to walk away saying, you know what? We chipped away like crazy. Like with the House of Representatives, when we started, along with Justice Democrats, that Medicare for All pledge, and we did this full court press, and we tried to force Democratic politicians to sign on to Medicare for All. It worked. A lot of them signed on to it. We bullied them into doing the right thing. But the DNC committee is significantly more conservative than even House Democrats. They're significantly more conservative. So the vote wasn't even close. 36 in favor, 125 against. This is during a pandemic with 150,000 people dead. Over 20 million people just losing their health insurance. 7 million prior to that, before we even got hit by coronavirus under the Trump administration. How can you look at that current state of affairs and simply be in favor of expanding Obamacare? You want to be in favor of expanding Obamacare? Cool. Expand it to Medicare for All. You go from Obamacare to a public option to Medicare for All. That's the logical progression. But no, just this, non-specific, let's expand Obamacare. Well, if Obamacare still had millions of people that weren't covered, why is this being held up as some sort of platonic ideal? It's not. It's not. It's actually pretty terrible. And when you look at the original Obamacare plan, guys, it comes from the Heritage Foundation. That's a right-wing think tank. The idea was originally a right-wing idea. Newt Gingrich supported it in the 90s. Chuck Grassley supported it in the 90s. Obama moved to the former Republican position, and then they moved into Cookiesville so far right that their position is basically, who cares, leave our terrible healthcare system exactly as it is. But the Democrats, they're supposed to stand for something. If they were representing the majority of their party, of course they'd be in favor of Medicare for All. It would have been 80% in favor of Medicare for All, but they said no. Then you get legalizing marijuana. Guys, again, this is ridiculous. Like they said, a supermajority of Democratic voters support it. It's over 60% of the American public, again, overall. And this is one of those issues where it would be so easy to outflank Trump and have Joe genuinely look good if he's like, yeah, I want to give people more freedom. I want to give people more liberty. I want to make up for the fact that I was the writer of the crime bill, which led to mass incarceration, which locked up innocent people, many of them people of color. I want to make up for that. How am I going to make up for that? I'm going to legalize marijuana, and I'm going to free all the nonviolent drug offenders. It's the least I could do. It's the direction that we're heading in. How can we have a situation where we got a bunch of states where marijuana is legal in the states? It's legal. But in other states, it's not, and at the federal level, it's illegal, and we're really going to pretend like this is a reasonable thing or a debatable thing? I mean, the principle behind this is the same principle as locking somebody up if they have a scotch on the weekend or a Budweiser. They're getting intoxicated. So what? Leave them alone. It's their business. But no. The Democratic Party in the year 2020 says we're against a supermajority of our own voters and a majority of the public. The DNC, they're moderate Republicans. That's what they are. I don't know what you want me to call it. That's what it is. And actually, in many ways, moderate Republican voters are to the left of the DNC. And then don't even get me started on the Israel thing. Don't even get me started on that. You know, they had a fight over the language of, you know, the left was saying we need to say we're against settlements. Which seems like, well, obviously, we need to be against settlements. Duh, that's a given. Like, they're illegal under international law. Saying I'm against settlements is like saying I'm for international law. It's obvious, right? Right? No. You know what happened? The ghouls that make up the majority of these low-life scumbags on the DNC committee, they said, no, what we'll do is we'll only come out against settlement expansion. But wait. There are settlements that are already built that are illegal under international law. They're saying in no uncertain terms, the ones that are already built, we're not going to say Dickie McGee's acts about that. Those are fine. It's any settlement expansion starting now. That's the problem. So you see how that's massively biased in favor of Israel? And that's biased against Palestinians? They're grandfathering in the already illegal settlements that currently exist. This is your Democratic Party. This is what they stand for. They should just rebrand and say we're the moderate Republican Party. That's what we are. We're the moderate Republican Party. Just come out and say it, because that's what this is. They take a look at the defining issues of our time. Defining issues. And they go, no, we disagree. We're going to disagree with 80% of our own voters. How is that even an option? How is that on the table? But they're also going to disagree with 60+% of the public. When we have a pandemic and we have people dying and hemorrhaging their health insurance, the number one issue that everybody should be in favor of and fighting for is Medicare for all. The media should be talking about it nonstop. The Democrats should be pushing for it nonstop. Hell, even the Republicans, if they had two brain cells to rub together, should be like, well, at the very least, we need to temporarily expand Medicare and Medicaid to cover everybody during the pandemic. Duh. This is the number one issue right now. By the way, what else is going on? Civil unrest. Civil unrest over what? Police abuse. So these are criminal justice related issues. What's the number one criminal justice related issue that is bigoted, that's racist, that is the clearest example of something that we need to fix moving forward if we want to have any hope at racial reconciliation? It's the drug war. The racist drug war, which overwhelmingly cracks down on poor people and people of color. Don't take my word for it. Nixon admitted it. His White House admitted it. Yeah, we were against the hippie whites and the people of color. We knew they were never going to be our political allies, so we tried to criminalize the lifestyle and lock them up. That's what we did. They admit it. They admit it. Joe Biden helped write the goddamn crime bill, and now he's saying, I'm not even going to be in favor of legalizing marijuana. I'm not even going to fix the problems I caused. You got protests in the street over police brutality and criminal justice issues and racial issues. And the Democrats in 2020 are not saying let's legalize marijuana. But that's the solution. That's the most important solution to this criminal justice issue and these racial issues. If you legalize marijuana and free all the nonviolent drug offenders, that takes a giant step towards racial reconciliation. Because, you got to release the people who you imprisoned unjustly. You got to stop harassing people and oppressing people for simply being a free adult to put in their body whatever they want to put in their body. The drug war is the fuel that allows these police departments to continue to harass poor people and people of color. That's what it is. Like, what do you think it was in New York when they do stop and frisk? What are they looking for? What are they looking for? They're looking for drugs. And then if they have drugs, oh, shit, we're going to lock you up. Now you got a criminal record. Now you can't get a job. Now you're in the cycle of misery. I mean, this is what we're talking about, and the Democrats are not even in favor of fixing it. In the era of Donald frickin' Trump, they're not in favor of fixing it. Let me explain something to all of you. The only reason why Joe Biden won this Democratic primary, the only reason, is because a bunch of suburban white voters were afraid that Trump would win again, so in their minds, they went with the safe option. The safe option being the career politician who's been wrong about virtually everything. And now we're in this position that we're in right now. Bernie Sanders would be up just as much on Donald Trump, if not more. And Bernie Sanders is correct on these issues, and Joe Biden isn't. So you know what my advice to you is? Bully the shit out of these motherfuckers. Bully Joe Biden. Bully every single corporate Democrat you see. Bully every single neoliberal you see. I am pro-bullying to fix the country for the policies that we need. I am pro-bullying. I'm on the record. I love bullying. And I'm going to bully the shit out of them myself. You want to know why? Because they deserve it. They earned it. When you are arrogant enough to put your middle finger up to 80% of the voters of your own party and 60% of the country, you're damn right. I'm gunning for you verbally, and you're damn right. I'm going to make you look like a fool because you are one. That's exactly what I'm going to do. And this is the way politics works. The right has done it for the longest time. They bully their politicians into doing their bidding. So it's time for the left to bully, the politicians on our side who are not doing our bidding. That's exactly what it's time for. And I don't want to hear anything different. My biggest bone to pick with the left has been that so many people on the left, and even left-wing leaders, in fact, left-wing leaders are the worst on this front. I'm talking about like left-wing politicians. Instead of acknowledging that we have a civil war for the heart and soul of the Democratic Party, what they do is they ignore that, they pretend we don't, and they push towards unity. But why is it the unity only works in one direction? The unity only works for the left to fall in line to do what the corporatists want. Why doesn't unity work the other way? Why isn't it unity for the corporatists to do the bidding of 80% of their own voters? They're against unity because they're not doing what 80% of their own voters want. So the whole unity thing is a ruse. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a ruse. It's a way to get you to fall in line and shut the fuck up. Well, you're not going to shut the fuck up. You're going to bully these motherfuckers relentlessly until they do the right thing, because this is embarrassing. This is pathetic. And I do think that on some level they think like, oh, if we take these positions, then there's no way that the right can caricature us. These are the positions that you can caricature. Of course you can caricature these positions. Are you kidding me? You're against universal health care during a pandemic? That's embarrassingly stupid. You're against legalizing marijuana when 60+% of the country wants it and 80% of your own party wants it, and that's freedom? So you're anti-freedom. Congratulations. Let's give the right exactly what they want. And then maybe they won't come after us. Oh, they're coming after us anyway? Oh, and now our base hates us? Oh, okay. This didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. Exactly. This is a joke, man. This is a joke. I don't know what else to say. This is a joke. Now, we knew this was coming. Biden won the primary, so we knew this was coming. But it is what it is. It's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face to Palestinians and people who support Palestinian rights. It's a slap in the face to every single person who's locked up unjustly because of the drug war. It's a slap in the face to anybody who enjoys marijuana and wants it to become legal. It's a slap in the face to everybody who's ever died in this country because they don't have access to basic health care. And by the way, it's 45,000 people every single year. It's a slap in the face to the tens of millions of people who are losing their health care during this pandemic. We got to demand better. I don't know what else to say. We have to demand better. This can't stand. Are we going to sit idly by as we accept the Republicans acting in a far-right insane way and the Democrats acting in a center-right insane way? No. We got to demand more. We have to demand more. Everybody needs to get involved in the fight because they're not going to do shit unless you force them to do it.